You know what the problem with arrogance is? It blinds you. Completely, utterly. And let me tell you, the Galactic Council had arrogance by the shipload. I was there that day. Yeah, me, third speaker Vorn of the Kelthian aggregation. Not exactly front row seats, but close enough to see everything that happened. Close enough to watch the universe shift on its axis. Because of one human female and one, well, you will see. The council chamber was packed. As usual, hundreds of species, thousands of representatives all crammed into that massive orbital station above Thresh Prime. The air recyclers were working overtime, trying to blend atmospheres that had no business mixing. Sulfur from the Dranix delegation. Methane traces from the Vosk, that weird floral scent the Polarians gave off. It smelled like a chemical accident, but that is politics for you. At the center of it all sat the High Council. 7 species, 7 representatives, who thought they ran the galaxy. And honestly, they kind of did. The Vosk Matriarch, all tentacles and superiority. The Dranix warlord, scales gleaming under the lights. The Havoc Prime speaker, those compound eyes missing nothing. You get the idea. Big, powerful, ancient species who had been running things for longer than most civilizations had existed. And then there was Commander Lisa Reeves, human, standing alone at the respondent platform, looking impossibly small compared to the beings towering around her. She wore their military uniform, dark blue with silver trim, nothing fancy. Her hair was pulled back tight. Her face was calm, too calm. That should have been the first warning sign, but we were all too busy being idiots to notice. The Vosk Matriarch spoke first, her translator rendering that wet, bubbling language into something the rest of us could understand. Humanity requests admission to the Galactic Council. Humanity requests access to our trade networks, our technology, our protection. She paused, letting those tentacles wave in what I had learned was their version of a condescending smile. Tell us, Commander Reeves, what exactly does your species bring to this table? What value do you offer? Reeves did not even blink. We bring ourselves, our innovation, our determination, our perspective. Oh, the laughter that followed. Not polite chuckling, mind you. Full bellowing laughter from dozens of species who found that response absolutely hilarious. The Dranix warlord actually slapped his massive clawed hand against the council desk, making the whole platform shudder. Innovation? The Havoc Prime speaker clicked, mandibles chittering. You have achieved faster than light travel for barely 2 decades. We have had it for millennia. Determination? The Matriarch added. You could not even unify your own planet without centuries of warfare. Perspective. A Polarian ambassador stood, those flower-like petals around her head fluttering with amusement. You are children playing with technologies you barely comprehend, in a galaxy you do not understand. I watched Reeves carefully. Still calm, still quiet. Her hands rested on the platform edge, relaxed, not clenched, not shaking. Just waiting. The insults kept coming. For 20 minutes. Maybe 30. Every grievance, every prejudice, every species that humanity had somehow offended during their brief tenure in galactic space stood up to air their complaints. We are too aggressive, too chaotic, too emotional, too primitive, too young, too reckless, too human. And Reeves just stood there, taking it all. Her expression never changed. She did not argue, did not defend, did not interrupt. She just listened, and that stillness, that patience, it started to unnerve me. Because I had studied humans, you see. I had read their history. Patience was not exactly their defining characteristic. Finally, the Vosk Matriarch raised a tentacle for silence. We have heard enough. The Council will now vote on humanity admission. All those in favor, silence. Complete total silence. Not one hand, tentacle, claw, or appendage rose in support. All those opposed? Every single one. All 7 High Council members. Probably 3/4 of the entire chamber. The vote was not even close. It was a massacre. The Matriarch turned back to Reeves, those eyes gleaming with what I swear was satisfaction. Commander Reeves, the Galactic Council has spoken. Humanity petition for membership is denied. Furthermore, we are imposing trade sanctions until your species demonstrates the maturity required for galactic citizenship. You are dismissed. That was it. The killing blow. Trade sanctions meant no advanced technology, no protected shipping lanes, no access to the resources that had allowed humanity to expand as quickly as they had. It was designed to cripple them, to force them back into their little corner of space where they belonged. Not as when it happened. Reeves did not shout, did not protest, did not storm out in anger, like we all expected. Instead, she did something far, far worse. She smiled, just a little, just enough to notice. And then slowly, deliberately, she raised her right hand, extended one single finger toward the council, her middle finger, to be precise. The chamber went dead silent, because we all knew what that gesture meant. Humans had made quite sure everyone understood their various hand signals. That particular one, it was not exactly diplomatic. "Commander Reeves," the matriarch boomed. "You dare." "Oh, I dare," Reeves interrupted, her voice cutting through the chamber like a blade, still calm, still controlled. But now there was something else underneath. Something cold, something dangerous. "You want to know what humanity brings to the table? Let me tell you. We bring perspective. Because while you have been sitting here in your comfortable council chamber, patting yourselves on the back for your superiority, you have made a critical mistake, a fatal one really." She lowered her hand, but kept that smile. "You assumed we came here begging. You assumed we needed you." Smile widened. "We don't." And then she turned and walked out, leaving the entire Galactic Council in stunned silence. That was 3 months ago. Want to know what happened next? Yeah, you heard me right. Want to know what happened next? Buckle up, because this is where it gets really, really interesting. 2 weeks after Reeves walked out, the first reports started coming in. Human ships, dozens of them, were leaving Council-protected space. Just leaving. Packing up their colonies on border worlds, their trade outposts, their embassy stations. Everything. Gone. "Good riddance," the Dranic's warlord had said. I remember it clearly because I was in the same council briefing. Let them sulk in their corner of space. They will come crawling back within a year. Except they did not crawl back. They did not even look back. 3 weeks in, something strange happened. The Yintari Consortium. You know them, right? Massive trade empire, neutral in basically everything. They announced a new exclusive partnership with humanity. Full technology exchange, open borders, mutual defense pact, the works. The council was annoyed but not worried. The Yintari were merchants, not warriors. What could they possibly offer that we could not? Turns out, quite a lot, actually. 5 weeks after that vote, the Terran Assembly made an announcement. They had discovered something in their deep space surveys. A network of ancient jump gates, dormant for millions of years, scattered throughout the Outer Rim territories. Territories the Council had marked as worthless because they were too far from established trade routes. And humanity. They figured out how to activate them. Suddenly, travel times that used to take months took days. Entire regions of space that were considered unreachable became accessible. And every single one of those gates was in human-controlled or human-allied space. The Council called an emergency session. I was there for that one too. The Volsk Matriarch was not looking so superior anymore. "This changes nothing," she insisted. "Those tentacles coiling tight with stress. Ancient technology does not make them civilized." But it was already too late, because humanity did something we never expected. They started inviting everyone else. Not to join them, not to beg for access. They simply opened the gates to any species that wanted to use them, for a fee of course, a reasonable one. Significantly cheaper than council-approved routes. Then species started saying yes. Dozens of them, then hundreds, independent colonies, merchant guilds, even some minor council members who saw an opportunity for profit. The humans were not forcing anyone. They were just offering. Take it or leave it. The council predictably tried to shut it down. Threatened sanctions against anyone using human jump gates. Demanded that humanity hand over the activation codes to Council control for the good of galactic security. You know what Commander Reeves said when she responded to that demand? I watched the transmission myself. She looked straight into the camera, smiled that same dangerous smile and said, "But thank you for your concern." That was it. Just no. No explanations. No negotiations. No apologies. The sheer audacity of it was breathtaking. Month 4 was when things really fell apart for the Council. The Krell Dominion, one of our major military allies, announced they were withdrawing from the Council Charter. Their reason? Humanity had offered them something we could not. A cure for the wasting plague that had been killing their population for 3 generations. Human medical researchers, working with Yintari bioengineers, had cracked it in 6 weeks. 6 weeks. We had been studying that plague for 70 years with no progress. The Havoc Prime speaker actually had the nerve to call it a bribe. They are buying loyalty, he clicked furiously during yet another emergency session. As opposed to what we do, I muttered. Quietly, but apparently not quietly enough. Several delegates turned to stare at me. I shut up real fast, but the point stood. The council had been buying loyalty with access to technology and protection for centuries. We just did not like it when someone did it better. Month 5 brought the real nightmare. The Solvac Hive, our main agricultural supplier, signed a development contract with humanity. Food production in their systems increased by 40% within weeks thanks to human agricultural techniques. Techniques they were now selling to anyone who wanted them. The council was hemorrhaging influence, and we all knew it. Trade routes were shifting. Alliances were reforming. The entire power structure of the galaxy was rearranging itself around these upstart humans who we had dismissed as primitive children. And then came month 6. The Vosk Matriarch did something desperate. She sent a private message to the Terran Assembly, a formal apology, an invitation to reapply for council membership under, quote, more favorable terms, unquote. The response came from Reeves herself. It was public this time. Broadcasted on every major channel in council space, she stood at a podium, wearing that same military uniform, flanked by representatives from 20 different species who had chosen to work with humanity instead of the council. Matriarch, she began, her voice carrying that same deadly calm. We received your message. We appreciate the sentiment. However, we must respectfully decline your generous offer. She paused, and I swear she was trying not to laugh. You see, we have been rather busy building something new, something better. The Terran Assembly, in conjunction with our allies, is forming the Free Systems Alliance. Open membership, democratic governance. No species considered superior to another. We would invite the council to join, but frankly we are not sure you would meet our standards for membership. The chamber where I was watching went absolutely berserk, delegates screaming. The High Council members shouting over each other. Pure, unfiltered chaos. But I just sat there watching Reeves on that screen, and I started laughing. I could not help it. Because 3 months ago she had walked out of our chamber after giving us one finger. One simple gesture of defiance. And now she had built an alternative to the entire Galactic Council structure. In half a year. You know what the real kicker is? Within a year, the Free Systems Alliance had more member species than the Council. Within 2 years we were irrelevant. The Great Galactic Council, millennia old, brought low by a species we had considered too primitive to join. All because we mistook patience for weakness. All because we thought one human commander standing alone was powerless. Reeves taught us something that day. Something important. Humanity does not beg. They do not plead. They do not need permission. When you insult them, when you dismiss them, when you underestimate them, they do not get angry. They do not get loud. They just smile, raise that finger and build something better without you. And that, my friends, is why you never ever insult humanity. Because they hold grudges like nobody else in this galaxy. And they are terrifyingly good at turning those grudges into empires. Trust me. I was there. I watched it happen. And I have never been so grateful to be proven wrong in my entire life.